Welcome back, everyone. Phoenix 3 here, and I have some more news regarding Pokken Tournament. The recent news to come out that seems to be pretty legit right now. Serbia is actually reporting on it, so I consider it as fact. Now, is that the game will in fact have a local multiplayer mode. Whoopee and all that stuff, and major excitement for people who didn't think that a fighting game would have a local fighting mode in it for whatever reason. But the one thing that people did have a question about was how would the game be played. Now, I was thinking that I was going to play the game, or that they would at least make it like the Naruto Storm series, where it is a circle fighter where characters swap back and forth on the position on the screen. For example, the player who is closest to the camera or the screen in the case will have the main camera view, similar to how the view in Pokken Tournament is constantly behind the Pokemon when in field phase. This is how the entirety of Naruto Storm is. And the right thing for them to do would be to make it to where the screen changes like that. Whoever happens to be closest to the camera would have the main camera and they would fight that way. But of course, that'd be too much work. And that's not what we get. What we do get is on Hori's website, where this information comes from. Now, keep in mind, this information does not come from the developers of Pokken Tournament, but everyone is reporting this as fact, so I'm going to as well. Is that if you want to play local multiplayer in this game, player one has to use the Wii U gamepad, which means you have to play your entire game on this huge ass, small ass screen on your controller. You can't use that nice $2,000 4K TV that you bought to play this beautiful looking Pokemon game. You have to use the controller, the Pro Pad, to play the game. So that way you can have your own screen. This means that player 2 can use the Pokken Tournament Pro controller, but you can't have two Pro controllers plugged into the game and play the local player or the local multiplayer. I was thinking, how could they design a game like this? Like, how could they fuck up the local multiplayer? I mean, keep in mind that this here is being made by the developers of Tekken, who are the kings of local multiplayer. And we get this. Now, I'm only being critical about this because I love the game. I love Pokemon as a series. I want to see it do well. But when I see stuff like this, it's really, really hard for me to. And it's not Pokemon's fault. I don't want to say it's their fault. I want to place the blame on the people who are doing this. Um, at the end of the day, I don't know if this is a problem in Pokken Tournament or if it's just a Wii U limitation. Like I was saying before in another video, if you want to plug in an external hard drive into your Wii U, it has to be a self-powered external hard drive. You have to plug that shit right into the wall or it will not work on your Wii U. I had to learn that the hard way. I didn't know I had to have a self-powered uh, external hard drive because I assumed I could just throw one into it and it would work just fine. But no, that's not the case. The Wii U isn't powerful enough to supply power to an external hard drive for use. So I have to plug it into the Wii U as well as plug it into the wall. They said if you have one of those Y ports, you can plug it into both the USB ports and it'll work, which takes up space from other devices that need to use a USB port, like the um the extra part for Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. So I seriously think this is just a Nintendo Wii U limitation that the hardware itself cannot support two Pro controllers for this game to be put into it. Otherwise, I don't think it would be that big an issue. Now, I know what you guys might be thinking. Why are you showing the Evo 2015 roster on a video about the Pokken tournament controller and it not working the way it's supposed to, or local multiplayer? Well, the reason for that is all of these games have really nice local multiplayer. The whole reason for local multiplayer is so you can play locally with friends and family or randoms in the same space, so that way you could have the best player experience without having to go to online battles. All of these games support that. Now, the reason this is a problem here is because I want to see Pokken Tournament at Evo. I really do. But this throws a giant wrench into the machine. Is that the right saying? I don't know. Like the Pokken Pokken Tournament for this event is going to be like throwing a pile of shit at a what's something that I can think of? Like, what's the worst thing that you could throw a pile of shit at? Um, it's like no, it's not like milking a piece of shit. No, that'd be progress actually. Okay, well it's doing something with shit and something that doesn't go together. That's kind of like what this is. And I'm not saying Pokken Tournament is a piece of shit. It's not. It's just the Wii U is a piece of shit. And the reason this is a problem is because at Evo, they're going to have to accommodate the players with two machines per match. So you go from having one machine, one PlayStation 4, or one Xbox One and one TV. So you go from having one set to having two sets. You need two Wii U's. You need two TVs. You need really good Wi-Fi to be able to support the game. Or they could just have the arcade cabinets there and everybody just play it that way. That'd be the preferred method since everybody has access to that controller. But basically, that's what it's going to have to come down to. Everyone is going to have to use their own Wii U system for the most part, which means the event, whoever's organizing the event, is going to have to make sure they have at least two Wii U's there, possibly more in the event of technicalities. I just don't know how they could design a game like that and not have that in mind. And I can honestly see that the developers probably didn't know because this was being made in arcade first. You assume that a next generation game console is going to work, which is why I really want this game on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One because we simply don't have these limitations. So basically, players are going to be at a disadvantage and are going to have to either use the gamepad, which no one really likes using because the controller is really big, bulky, and awkward. The controller requires a lot of power because it has a screen on it. The screen itself isn't in HD, and there is some lag between the actual screen on the Pro or the gamepad and the actual TV, which can cause issues in the game. I've noticed lag on it when playing Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on it. I mean, it wasn't that big lag, but I could play on the controller if I didn't want to use the screen. But one player has to use this controller, and the other player has to use the screen, which obviously creates an issue. Now, this is also going to create an issue because you really can't record gameplay from the gamepad, which a lot of people want to do, especially when we're at events where they have broadcast these screens. So we will only ever see it from the perspective of player two if they are to have only one machine there, which means events like Evo or other people who host the events for this game, they're going to have to make sure they have top-notch Wi-Fi capabilities. Otherwise, lag for this is going to be unbearable, which defeats the purpose of having local multiplayer. I don't understand how they can do this. Like, if I want to place the blame where the blame deserves to be, based on my experience with the Wii U and a lot of devices not working for it, I could probably say with at least 95% certainty that this here is in fact a Wii U limitation and not a Pokken tournament limitation. Like I said, this would be fine if the game was just in arcades or there was some way to emulate that, or it took the route that the Naruto Storm series did and how they handled this exact same camera issue. Well, it's not a camera issue in Naruto Storm because it works in that game. But I really feel this here is a Wii U limitation, so I'm placing the blame on the Wii U, which is the reason why I want to see this game on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, because I would hate for a console limitation to be the nail in this game's grave when the game was not at fault at all. I don't want this game to do bad because it's on inferior hardware. If putting this game on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One will remedy that problem, then that's what they need to do. And I really feel Nintendo's taking the Pokemon company down into an early grave. Like, Nintendo just refuses to evolve. Maybe this won't be a problem on the NX, but based on what I've seen Nintendo do, then it's a problem. I mean, the Wii U was, I mean, these systems aren't a flop. The Wii wasn't a bad system. The Wii U's not a bad system, but it's comparing the Wii, like the first Wii, to a PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. These are completely different worlds here, and the Wii U is more powerful than the PlayStation 3, but the PlayStation 3 doesn't have the issues that the Wii U have. Like, you can plug in like 50 million devices into the PlayStation 3 and it doesn't care. It's just like when you get your hands on a Nintendo console, it's like, okay, what exactly can I not do? And then you have to go from there. It's like, yeah, I appreciate the games being in HD, but HD is like a last gen thing, you know? That's not something people celebrate about. Nobody says, "Oh, look at the graphics on the PlayStation 3" anymore. Nobody says that. But everybody says, "Oh, look at the graphics on the Wii U." It's like, well, this is nothing new. It's just Nintendo is late to the party, and it seems like they're still late to the party. I don't want to dog Nintendo like this, but the fact that you can't use two of the controllers made specifically for Pokken Tournament on a Wii U for this game in their local player mode is very disheartening, because this pretty much puts a screw in the competitive scene for this game. I don't know how it's going to be. I mean, there's no use in speculating it. I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. We don't know until we play it, though. But it's never a good idea to force a player in a competitive tournament to have to use one controller over the other. They should be able to come in with their own setups and use what works for them. That's how this is supposed to work. That's how this always works. And I don't know. I can't get used to the controller feel for this game. The controller is just way too big. And it's going to suck if I'm going to be forced at some event to use the gamepad, because that will affect my performance, and it will affect the performance of other players as well. But I think that's all I got for this. I want to know what you guys think about this. Like I said, this didn't come directly from the developers of Pokken Tournament. I'd rather hear it from their mouth rather than a company who just makes the controller for it. But everybody thinks this here is canon. I would like it if this wasn't, or if this is the deal, that they fix it before the final version comes out, because this is unacceptable. But if you guys like this video, then uh, please subscribe to my channel, because I'm always going to be doing anything that comes out on Pokken Tournament. I'll be sure to discuss that with you guys as well. In the link below, I'm going to be posting a link to the Pokken Arena forums, where we all there hope to be able to bring you the news about Pokken Tournament early, as well as provide a place for discussion about the many features of the game, as well as character tiers, matchups, and stuff like that. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching my videos, and I hope to see you all in the next one.